For the past 25 years, Student Leadership Network has cemented its legacy in education and innovation by working to make equity in education a reality, supporting nearly 50,000 young people growing up in diverse and underserved communities nationwide to gain access to higher education. Now they're working towards a future without barriers to educational opportunities that all students deserve. Here with us on the show, we are pleased to have the Young Women's Leadership School of the Bronx co-director, I should say, Devon Eisenberg. And Devon, we thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. So for somebody who doesn't really know about the Young Women's Leadership School of the Bronx, walk us into the halls of your classroom.
Okay, so we opened in 2012 with just a sixth grade, and we were so fortunate to partner up with Student Leadership Network and follow in the footsteps of our sister schools. So we are the fifth school in all of the boroughs, and collectively we have about 100% graduation rate, and in our school we have 94% of our students matriculating to college every year. And if you look at the stats compared to the Bronx, that's a huge difference. And I think a lot of that is attributed to the whole girl education model we use. We are a single gender school, and we start teaching computer science in the sixth grade for our girls. So by the time they're in ninth grade, they are coding, they are making websites, they do hackathons, all this stuff. So they're able to compete with people outside of this zip code from different areas around the country, around the world even, which is really a great thing. Another thing I think that makes our school really unique is the sense of sisterhood that's really here. Our students, since they start, and I think by taking the males out of the classroom, they're always trying to push each other to do better, not competing with one another. And it really is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
So when we talk about an all-girls school, I can come from the perspective of for the first, yeah, up until about sixth grade, I was in an all-boys school, and I really got some flat footing in there. And when I realized there's a difference between being in an all-boys environment versus a co-ed mixed environment. So give me, what do you feel are some of the benefits when you have the opportunity to be able to educate young ladies in a place where it's pretty much, all them?
So I think a big part of the whole girl model is focusing on collaboration. And you walk around our classrooms, obviously things are a little different right now because of COVID, but there's lots of group work happening everywhere, that they are not just accountable for their own learning, but they're accountable for everyone in their classes learning. We see our students when they get to their senior year, and some of them start maybe developing senioritis, right? And struggling a bit, they grab their friends and pull them up and say, okay, we're going to do this together. We're not crossing the finish line without you, because we started this together and we're finishing together. And I think without having the competition of boys in the classroom, they're able to really develop those bonds and realize their success is not individual, but collective.
Yeah. Equity is a big name that we use here on the show, talking about how people can get to a place of equity. From your institution, how do you feel that you're, achieving equity, and what are some of the innovative ways that you're doing that?
I think our teachers are phenomenal. I couldn't say enough good things about them. And I think something that's really important to everyone at 12 Bronx and at the Student Leadership Network is that our students can see themselves in the curriculum, right? They can't just be reading books about the 1800s, about people who they can connect to. So all of our classroom libraries are revamped so that there's books where they see themselves and they can give input into the curriculum. And I think that that's a big part of equity. We also spend a lot of time teaching our students that their voice matters and how to be advocates in the world, right? They can't just be passive to everything happening. We've noticed the inequities in our world have always been there. In the past 2 years, they've been exemplified even more. And I think one of the big things we've been focusing on with our students is you're the ones who are going to make that change. You're going to continue what's starting now. And how are you going to make your voice heard? So as you walk through our classrooms, you hear our teachers pushing that all the time in the classroom of how they can advance for not just themselves, but for everyone in the community.
And so when we talk about young ladies in the classroom, walk us into the classroom. What makes the classroom experience so different for the students there? Because when you talk about a 94%, I mean, 100% graduation rate, or I think you mentioned,
Yeah.
and 94% in another category, that's huge. And that's a difference maker. We don't always see those numbers across the broader Bronx and even across New York City. But obviously, you got some secret sauce there. You're doing something well. So, what is it for you?
So I think part of it is our partnership with the Student Leadership Network, that they're really able to connect us to a lot of outside organizations. Our students start touring colleges in sixth grade. We partner with mental health clinics. We partner with Broadway theaters. So our students are getting out there and participating in things in the city, not just inside the Bronx. And I think another big thing is we start pushing college in sixth grade. Our students come in that first day in the summer before their sixth grade, and they're placed in a homeroom that has a college name, right? Every year, that's how they travel as a college. So it's not if you're going to college, it's where you're going to college, or what vocational path is the best path for you, so that you're able to be self-sufficient and happy when you graduate from us, because that's the most important thing. But I think the other big thing is it's a community effort. We have a full-time college counselor provided by the Student Leadership Network, but the work doesn't all fall to her. It falls to all the teachers in the building, all the staff in the building, to make sure that our students are making choices that are right for them, right for their future, and right for their family's future.
We've heard so many people talk about when it comes to schools, we're just trying to survive. And I'm talking about throughout the COVID pandemic. We're just trying to survive, just trying to make it through. You definitely taken it to another direction. It's not just surviving, it's actually thriving. But I know that you've had your challenges during COVID. Talk to us about how you've been able to navigate and to get that same success and graduation rate, given the fact that we're in a pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say the past 2 years have been a bit challenging. They definitely have. When we first did close our building stores in 2020, it was a lot of giving out devices and making sure that our students all could learn from home. And I think that then goes back to the sense of community that I talked about before. Throughout the pandemic, our kids started each day with a check-in group where every adult in the building had a group of 10 kids. And in that Zoom room, maybe it was playing games, maybe it was singing songs, maybe it was talking about what's going on. But again, keeping that sense of connection so that they knew they weren't alone, right? Because that was a really hard part for many of us during the pandemic, of feeling isolated from family and friends. We also do a lot of family workshops on Zoom that we started doing as well, ranging from a psychiatrist talking to parents about how to parent during a pandemic, right? Something new for a lot of our parents, obviously. To Zumba classes at night, so that we're still encouraging our families to engage together. I also think in terms of the college process, we have almost 100% of our students who are graduating in June have completed their FAFSA already for financial aid. And I think that was a big learning of the pandemic, was we don't need the parents to come to the building. We could set up a Zoom and do all their paperwork that way, which could be much easier. They could do it on their lunch break, right? All these different things, and then trying to think about what we learned during the pandemic to keep us growing. And at the end of the day, our kids are incredibly resilient. They're from the Bronx, right? They're accustomed to going through challenging situations and rising up above them. And they continued to do so during the pandemic, and still as the pandemic keeps going.
Yeah. And for us, I know that, looking as a media outlet and seeing a lot of people trying to navigate through the pandemic, particularly in the area of education, we've talked to educators, we talked to parents, we talked to students about, the divide. We talked about socialization. We talked about all these things that seem to really have impacted them in such a way where, going to school can now be so much more burdensome because of all the extra added things that have come on. But it seems as though you've done a great job in lightening the load. Talk to me about the receptivity of parents. And when you bring this to them to say, hey, listen, we can talk about Zumba, or the hidden factor of just basically mental health and illness, right? Because a lot of people struggle with mental health during this time. And it was something that a lot of people just put to the back burner. But it seems as though that you really embraced it, and actually didn't just embrace it, but provided a service to try to deal with that.
Right. And that's, again, we're definitely fortunate with Student Leadership Network to help us find some of those things. So we work with a child psychiatrist in Texas. We actually she's doing a presentation this evening for our families on suicide and depression. right? Because those are things that have been happening during the pandemic, and they're important to talk about and for parents to know about. We also have other partnerships where we have social workers coming to the building and giving trauma counseling, as we know a lot of our students did experience significant loss during the pandemic. And I think the more we bring these things to our families, the more likely that they're going to engage with us for them. And then, of course, balancing that with the fun Zumba or the cooking class and all those things too. I think the other thing is this year and last year, we only had 17% of our students in the building. And this year, obviously, everything's back. And overall, our kids are happy to be here. Kids signing up for extracurricular activities is the highest it's ever been. They're so happy to have that in-person connection again that it's really a beautiful thing having them here.
You have a very special time coming up, a 25th anniversary that's coming around the corner. An exciting time for you guys. Talk to us about the 25th anniversary, what it means, and I know you're having a special gala at a very special place.
Yes, it is. It's very exciting when me and Lee Marie Loriano opened the school together. And at that point, they were about to have, what was it, their 15th anniversary. And we talked all about how how things were plowed through in order to make a single gender public school. That was a huge thing 25 years ago, and how excited we were to become a part of this initiative. And now 10 years later, we're having our 10-year anniversary, and the network is having their 25-year anniversary. And the amount of students that have been impacted through TWIL schools through this organization and through CBI schools is unbelievable. When we talk about the millions and millions of dollars of scholarship money that our students are able to achieve due to CBI makes all the difference in our students' lives and in their families' trajectory.
And for yourself, obviously, an opportunity to impact the lives of so many young women. And I know you yourself have a personal history, a leader, and doing some great work in the borough of the Bronx and beyond. Share with us a little bit about you and what got you where you are today.
I was working at another school in the Bronx, and my friends and I decided we saw a real need for young women of color for different type of education in order where they could break through stereotypes that society may have for them. And at that point, we decided the easiest way to do that was to create a school in 10453 and to provide our students this opportunity. And it has been, I can say for me, a life-changing opportunity. I get to see my kids come in at 11 years old, and when they leave us, they're 18 years old. And to be able to see them grow up from little girls into young women is such an amazing experience. We currently actually have a graduate of 2019 working here and a graduate of 2021 working here, both part-time, but seeing them come back, give back to the community, and be such great role models for the younger kids, it's heartwarming every day.
Yeah. And it's got to be a great feeling. I mean, when you see the ones that you've actually poured into at an early age and now they come back and then they give back, and or just to see them be able to graduate. So for yourself, how hard of a move was it to really detach and say, you know what, I'm going to do this thing on my own. I see what it is out there. I don't like what it is, but I'm going to create a solution. I'm going to do something about this, and I'm going to be a part of the change. I'm not going to talk about the problem. I'm going to actually be a part of the solution. How hard of a detachment was that for you? Because for many people, when you kind of like leave your career and what you've known for so long, that comfort zone that I like to talk about, it can really become quite uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think when I said before that Lee Marie and I thought the easy way to deal with this was just to make a school, maybe it wasn't the easiest way to make change. It definitely was a big lift, but with the partnership of SLN, they really helped us, right? Because they'd done this 4 times before. And I think in the past 3 years, everything has changed every year due to the pandemic, right? So every year we're kind of starting fresh and reassessing everything we've done in the past. So it's kind of been like opening a new school every year for the past 2 years with all the guidelines changing, but it's something I would never change. I definitely, seeing these students come through here and seeing them grow up and seeing their lives change, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing or nowhere else I'd rather be.
Yeah. So for yourself, talk to us about how people can get connected to the school. If there's a young person out there, a family member that says, you know what, this may be a great opportunity for us. What can they do to be a part of the school?
So definitely visit our website, which is www.twillsbronx.org, and it's TYWLS. We have a bunch of open houses coming up. We have one tomorrow night, actually, at 6 p.m., and all of our open houses are on Zoom. And we're in the process of recruiting for a new 6th grade class and a new 9th grade class coming in. And we would love to have you come visit us, learn more about us. And our doors are always open here as well. You're definitely welcome to come in and see the school at any time. Our kids are amazing, and anybody would be lucky to meet them.
Devon Eisenberg, thank you so much, and congratulations on the great success that you're having. And certainly, maybe one day we'll get you back, and you should bring a couple of your success stories with you, and we'll have an
Excellent.
opportunity to meet them as well. Would
Thank
love
you
that.
so
Would love
much.
that.
It's a pleasure
All right,
meeting.
Devon Eisenberg. Yes, my pleasure meeting you. Our guest here on the Social Justice Forums. Want you to stay with us. We're going to take a quick break, but we got more show as the Social Justice Forums continues in a moment.